Hello and welcome to HTC's podcast. We are here to shine a light on Hybrid's toughest characters and relive our most memorable moments. I'm Chris.
And I'm Deacon.
Let's start this thing.
Let me just say one thing. If you put any man, woman, child, or animal in front of me on a mat, I'm gonna take them too. HTC, best team in Australia.
Hello and welcome to our second episode of the Hybrid Training Centre's podcast. I'm joined today by Henry Oddie, like a little brother to me, friend, known him for a very long time. And we're here to discuss his second fight in Legion. So it was Legion 18, and for me personally, it was a very, very proud moment. You can see that when you watch the footage back, me sitting in the corner there just staring intently going, man, he's finally better than me. The torch has been passed. So welcome, Henry, and thank you for joining us on our podcast, man. Really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here with us.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to kind of talk about this and share my experience.
Yeah, wicked as. So we did just watch you fight. I forgot how fun it was and how action-packed it was. That was super cool, dude. So from your perspective and watching it freshly again, let's talk about the fight first, and then we'll get into some of the other context, because a lot of the reason I have you here is actually to talk about everything that surrounds the fight, because I think that's actually, especially in your circumstance, probably even more interesting. It's more interesting. The fight was a banger, but everything around it, I really think the context is going to be awesome for people to have a bit of a listen to. So let's have a chat about that fight.
Definitely.
Round one.
Let's go. Wow, I think Tyson and I looked at each other from across the cage. We kind of we both put our hands up being like, all right, let's touch gloves.
Yeah.
And through my entire fight camp, I remember Brody was like, they're short rounds, they're quick. You set the mark and you set the pace. And that's exactly what I did in that first round. I touched the gloves with Tyson, and then it just kind of went from there. You know, it felt good. It felt quick. And as soon as that 20 seconds came, I was like, I've got this. Like, this is game over. I felt confident. You know, the cage control was there. Exactly what I focused all through kind of my fight camp as well. But the interesting thing that caught me was that along my kind of fight camp journey, I was told, oh, he's going to be southpaw. He's going to come out, you know, just watch that. So I had Zach Barry, who's one of our best southpaws here at HTC.
The king of southpaws.
The king of southpaws. You know, we did multiple rounds. Again, Brody was so heavy and involved in my fight camp, and he did southpaw and for so much of it, and his poor leg was purple by the end of it, and then my opponent walked out and he wasn't, and so I just kind of had to go quick moment of realization of like, all right, well, he's not southpaw, let's see what we can do. And yeah, that inside leg kick was landing really well, then responding it as well, landing the right hand. So yeah,
you landed a lot of hands, not just the right hand. You were throwing plenty of shots, and they were fast, man. That's something that I was really impressed with just then, just watching it back. I forgot how quick you are in 16s.
Yeah.
Like, that was impressive to me. You know, not only that, you did still beat the piss out of his leg, and I do distinctly remember Brody consistently talking about his leg.
Yeah.
Which, Brody's a tough man. I've said around the gym all the time, he's got dinosaur bones. That guy's got dense legs. I don't often talk about leg kicks myself, but when Brody starts booting me in the leg, I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This really sucks. So I'm glad he got a bit of his own medicine in this regard. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, well done for that. That was cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, as far as those inside thigh kicks, they looked like they kind of like got Tyson quite uncomfortable quite early.
Yeah.
And what I think was really impressive is like that, I said, you know, the fight game isn't just physical, you know, it's a mental game as well. It's a spiritual game. You've got to have your heart in it too. And what I think I saw was when you came out so strong, you were tough, you were fast, you were fit, you were hitting hard. I think I saw Tyson go, all right, I'm just going to try and survive this a little bit.
Yeah.
And it can be a shock. Like, was that his first fight? Do you know that?
Yeah, that was his first fight.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was my second for me. That was his debut and everything. So yeah, mad respect for him to take on someone who's already had a fight previously. So I have nothing but respect for Tyson doing that. And, you know, he's had a few more fights, I think, from what I've seen, which is really good. So yeah, really proud of him for doing that. So, but yeah, on that night, it was his first one for him.
And how much of a difference, like that, for me, it makes a massive difference. I remember my first fight and being absolutely terrified afterwards, going, all right, that's it for me. I'm done. Bugger this. I said, knowing you well and knowing you through the fight camp, then through your next fight camp, like seeing the change was big. So yeah, I noticed that confidence advantage, and then I think that translated really well to backing up that strategy that you worked on, which is, control the cage, very aggressive, huge volume being a C-class fight.
Yeah.
That volume was massive. I was impressed. Very fit, mate.
Thank
very,
you.
very fit.
Yeah.
Also, what I seem to find you don't see a lot in C-class fights is clean shots landed in the 16-ounce gloves. That was impressive to me.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. So, first round, there wasn't the 10-8 round in the first. That was the second.
That was the second.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, just a very dominant first round, high pace. After that first round, I was in your corner, so I was just very proud. That was the main thing. But, you had Khan and Trossi, is that correct?
That is correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
Sweet. So what was the advice you got after that first round?
So the first round was very funny. Khan pretty much just came up to me, gave me his shoulders, put my arms on his shoulders, and he, in a non kind of harsh way, but kind of harsh, it was like, you're fucking this guy up, you'll be right. And that's what it was. That's what the message was. He was like, Henry, you're fine. Let's look for the chin. Let's get a finish here. Right, you're fit, you're not exhausted even after this first round, and you've just pumped out high volume. Keep it up, but let's look for some targets more. And that's what I did in the second.
And you found him?
I found him, yeah. I found a really nice, clean body shot. It was really weird. Everything kind of went in slow motion when it opened up. I'm like, oh, there's that left rip. Popped it up, then it landed clean. And Tyson kind of did the classic. As soon as you get hit with a body shot, you could drop your hands a bit.
Yep.
And I faked it, went up the top. And then he got the 10-second count after that, after a bit more pressure, a few more knees as well. So yeah, it felt really good knowing that Khan and Tross, yourself, Brody, from what I could hear as well, and the crowd in general were just so confident in me. That second round just kind of flew by in my head, and yeah, I felt really good.
You looked like you were having a ball.
It was great fun.
You really did. And in fact, have you ever been cornered by Khan Deacon or in MMA or anything like that? Have you had it? No?
I've been cornered by him, but I've sat beside him in the corner. Yeah.
That dad energy has got, hey?
It's wild. You don't even need to sit beside him. You can be at the back of the venue and you hear that guy.
Yeah, that booming voice,
Big
right?
He's
voice.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like you hear him, and I reckon you feel like you can do anything.
Yeah, it's so true. He's got that. Well, got a baby on the way, so probably a good thing he's got that, dad voice ready to go, I think. But yeah, as you were saying it, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like that big, that comforting look for the targets. That sort of advice is quite similar to what he gave me. When I was it Matt? I think it was when I was fighting. No, when I fought Andrew. Same sort of thing. He's like, look, just look for the chin. And don't worry about too much else, mate. Like, you've trained hard for this. And it was really comforting to hear that. And, he gets you in a really good frame of mind, ready to do, what you need to in there, I suppose.
Definitely.
So you've had that second round. You got you got the 8 count. You're looking really, really good. So mixing up the weapons. So, a lot of punch volume, a lot of inside thigh kicks, that beautiful liver shot to left hook. Oh, yeah. That's a proud big brother moment there, mate. Anyone would think that you and I had trained together before?
Yeah, potentially 10 years of training together would do something like that, wouldn't it? We start resembling each other, but yeah, it was beautiful. And that's exactly what Brody and I just practiced. The entire fight camp was that cage control. And then I would literally just kind of hold a parry out on Brody and he'd just say, hit me. And that's what we did. I'd look for those shots over and over and over again. And it was finally really nice post-fight, and now kind of a couple of years on as well from it, realising that I haven't done those things just to do them. They were done on purpose, so when it comes to fight night, they're just natural, and it came out naturally. I didn't think about it. The shot opened up, I threw it, and now I do it in training as well when I'm sparring or, doing other hard rounds and stuff like that. Things like that just come natural for me now, which is really good. So I think it's good to know anyone who's kind of new to the sport, just keep thinking to yourself, this is going to help you out later down the line, just keep that in mind.
Get those reps in, hey?
Get the reps in.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And I think that's really good advice to anybody training. Like I heard it back in the day from my very first instructor. Is it's you're not scared of the person who's practiced 1,000 moves 10 times. It's the person who's practiced 10 moves 10,000 times.
Exactly.
I'm like, yep, all right, cool, that makes sense. So obviously that translated in your fight. Okay, second round, that's all over. Back to the corner. You're obviously well and truly up.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? What comes next?
So this second round speech from Khan was a bit of a blur to me. I think just because I was so up and about. I got the 8 count. But the one thing that stuck out to me, he said to me, don't do anything stupid. You've won this. Keep your hands up and just finish this round. Like, at this point, he was happy with me having the first round. I set the tempo. Second round, I looked for the chin and I got an 8 count. The third round, he just wanted me to kind of stay up, not do anything stupid, not get knocked out, not get hurt. And then it'd be a great night from there. And that's exactly what I did. I got to kind of chill out a bit more in that third round, focus on controlling the center of the cage. I was very tired in that last probably 30 seconds. The arms felt sluggish. It was just throwing what I could. And then the 10-second clap mark. Again, I was close to the cage and I was like, right, let's just kind of settle this. So I just kind of pushed Tyson up against the cage and there it is. That was kind of the end of the night. The last round, yeah. You can always go out with a bang in your last round, but I think I left it all in the second and I was happy with just kind of relaxing a bit more in that last round and knowing that I'm going to walk away with this with a win. So
yeah, you weren't reckless. You're still aggressive though. It's
Yeah.
not like you sort of backed up and coasted. I do believe that would have actually been more dangerous for you to back up and coast because if you did that, I would have beat you up as soon as you got out.
exactly.
But instead, I was just so proud. And now I've probably already told you this before, but I wish I could remember who told me. But I think actually it might have been Adam Butler. After the fight, comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you should be really proud of that man, young man. I could tell he's been trained by you. Okay, I can tell he's had a lot to do with you. He's had a lot to do with Brody." And I was like, wow, what a compliment, because what I just saw was brilliant. I think on that night, I would not have wanted to fight you, Henry.
Thank you.
I dead set would not have wanted to fight you. And
Yeah.
like as I've said before, I've known you since you were a little boy, which we'll talk about in a second as well.
Yeah.
Like, back in the day, tiny little Henry when you first got started in martial arts and how much you've
Skinny
changed
Henry.
since then.
Yeah.
And I might actually just give everyone just a little bit of a heads up and a warning here. We do have an extra guest in the room. It's my little baby daughter, Aurora. And she's woke up. She's giving me some weird looks. So if there's some noise in a minute, I apologise. I might have to run her upstairs. But at the moment, she seems to be listening to our conversation and pretty happy about things. So we'll continue on. So yeah. Anyway, Henry, it was a beautiful night. I had a lot of fun. I was very proud of you. You're very proud of you. As far as like martial arts goes, let's go way back to the start.
Wow.
Why did you take up martial arts initially?
Well, it's a very funny story. It was when HTC was in the old church building, a couple blocks from where we are now. Can't remember the street.
Murray Street, brother.
Murray Street. And I was walking past with Mum and my brother, ripe old age, I reckon 9 or 10. And I was hearing these loud bangs, this grunting, these weird noises coming from in there. And I'm like, well, that's a church. What's going on there? And it's exactly what I said to Mum. I was like, well, what's in there? And she goes, let's go find out. And I think Mum knew that, you know, that age of about to kind of go into early teens. I had a bit going on in life and stuff. I just needed an outlet. Next minute, I'm signed up. I'm all of a sudden just done this sport for 10 years and it's just flashed by. And I've met some amazing people, all because Mum said, let's go in and see what this is about. And yeah, it was exactly what I thought. It was a lot of sweaty men, bags and a mat, hitting stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'm kind of like this place. But yeah, I had a traditional kind of martial arts though in that same building, more upstairs. I did that for about 5 to 6 years. And there are a few people who have come through hybrid who have done that same kind of traditional martial arts, including yourself.
Yeah, that's right. You can say the name. You're allowed to. It's
Zendu Kai.
it's like you talk about Voldemort. You know, right? But no, we both
don't speak about Fight Club. You know, like yeah. So I did Zendu Kai for that kind of youngish period of time, and I went to a slap jiu-jitsu match where I just came across Jess Street, who was there, and we kind of had a bit of a chat, and I was just saying to her, I was like, oh, I need a new place to go. I don't know where to go. And Jess goes, well, HTC's now moved out to Glenorchy. We've got a massive warehouse. Come in, give it a go. And then I think I went in on that a couple of days after that, and I met some amazing people. And yeah, we were out there for quite a while when I was starting to go through my early teens, little scrawny Henry.
Oh, didn't we hear about that?
Mark Menzie and Flowers and all those classic names from back in the day. So yeah, those guys, I've definitely had a really positive kind of input from a lot of those older gentlemen that I had during that time of my life, and that was really needed as well. Like I needed those mentors, including yourself, to kind of help me out. So yeah, I couldn't thank those boys enough, and the old HTC, and then now we're here in this new lovely flashy building, and it's right down from my house. So there's no excuse for me not to train, to be honest. So it's kind of really easy to get to here now. So it's kind of a brief overview of it. Just started all because you just walking along the street one day and interested in, and then I've been here ever since, and I wouldn't look back.
So funny how it does seem that martial arts summons you.
Yeah.
Like just an opportunity appears and then you take it. Like similar thing happened to me in high school. That's how I started. Is he's another old legend that some people know, most won't. But Sensei Pat.
Yeah.
Sensei Pat Rafferty. So my friends, they started doing martial arts when I was in grade 9. It was Mitchell and Mark, and I've been begging Mum for ages. We lived in Baghdad. I was like, I want to take up Kung Fu because I love Jackie Chan movies. And she's like, no, you did karate as a kid and you gave it up. I'm like, no, but I really want to do it. So then I just lied and said I was going to Mitchell's place, and I just started going each week along to Sensei Pat's.
Awesome.
If you think downstairs is a dungeon here, which it's not, it's beautiful by the way, his was a bit of a dungeon. Small little matted area, not particularly hygienic, but that's where I got my start in martial arts. And one thing I'm always going to love Pat for is like he got me into those early UFCs on videotape.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that started in judo like way back in the day. Apparently he remembers Priscus when Priscus was 4 years old, so a long time. So it started with him. I actually started in jiu-jitsu, funnily enough, back in the day, and the striking aspect of his martial art was taekwondo based, but relatively basic. It was mostly around the judo and the jiu-jitsu. And then obviously he suggested to me that I branch out a little bit, and I tried national taekwondo, which is where obviously got to see how awesome Jess was at that.
Yeah.
Got to meet her there. Then Zendu Kai, got into that at an early age, which is very formative to me. Mm-hmm. I got a lot out of that.
It set the basics for us. I think we've got. I don't want to sound all up myself, but we've got very good hand technique from that sport that we've done. We learnt so many basics over and over again in that sport.
Oh yeah.
In Zendu Kai, that it was just kind of drilled into our brain. So when I made the transition to more kind of Thai and MMA, it was much more easier for me to get into it. The
discipline side, because like I think coming from the more traditional martial arts, like I said, like national taekwondo, which I still think is it's about as good as taekwondo gets. Zendu Kai, obviously we had a lot of character building as young men, through that. Then to come into like more modern martial arts, MMA and Muay Thai, we had to relax a bit. So like we came in with a bit of a stick up our ass, I think, a bit like rigid and a bit scared. But when we relaxed into it, I think that foundation really set us up quite well, and it made that transition kind of easy as soon as we relaxed a bit. Obviously we've got a lot to thank it for. We've come a long way since then, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of your mum, before I forget that, sorry, hey, don't get too nervous. It's all right. I've been stirring her up all day, but like obviously you got a lot to thank her for. Like,
definitely, yeah.
For her to seek out such healthy role models for you, not push you into it, but hold you to account as a man.
Yeah,
I think she's done you a tremendous service, and like I get along really well with your mum, even though I stir the hell out of her relentlessly. I'm surprised that she hasn't come in here one day and just like stabbed me or something. Like I relentlessly torment her.
I'll give it a week or so.
I'll give it a week. Give it a week. I know. I can't help myself. But yeah, look, your mum, will she listen to this?
I'll make her listen to it.
You make her listen
I'll
to
make
it.
her listen to
Well, Rachel, just a shout out to you. You've raised a wonderful young man that I think the world of, and thank you for putting up with my relentless stirring over years upon years upon years. I've had a tremendous time, and it's I think it's a bit of character building for you for this career in politics. So you know what, I'm helping. I think in the long run, I'm helping you out. I just want you to know, Rachel, respect you and love you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, without Mum, I wouldn't have got a lift at all to any of those training sessions that I did for so long. You know, all the way out to, well, not all the way out to Glenorchy, but you know, it's a bit of a drive for her after work every day. You know, and I was very consistent with it, funding me as well for a majority of the time as well, with just kind of the fees and stuff and the sport in general. So, and yeah, that big accountable thing. I think when I did my first fight camp against Tyler, who I think we're going to hope to get on this together, which would be really awesome to kind of sit down, chat and talk about our fight together, because we're now teammates, which is awesome. But yeah, that first fight camp that I had, you know, was kind of during school, and I'd be pretty knackered from school at the end of the day, and she'd just be like, pretty much, shut up, Henry, you're going to training and deal with it. And without that, I don't think I would be where I am at the moment. And yeah, that second fight camp as well was a lot on her more. I had a weight cut to deal with that one. I was a little shit for a good 3-4 weeks during it. Yeah, it was a lot to deal with. So.
I know, I got the messages.
Yeah.
I got the messages, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
But the other thing that your mum had to put up with is back in the Glenorchy days, is the second that you two walked through the door, it was either Mark Menzies, it was myself, it was someone ripping into your mum.
Yeah.
When are you going to feed that boy? You know, what's
give him broccoli. Why aren't you feeding him? He still does it.
I know he doesn't. It's hilarious, by the way. So yeah, no, you know, big thanks to your mum for that.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the fight camp, the mental side of things, because you know I didn't have a lot to do with you physically for the second one. Was I injured or was I just lazy? I can't remember.
I don't want to say. Maybe you were lazy. We'll just say that. I'm not sure.
Lazy?
Maybe we'll just say you're lazy.
I was
Let's
probably
go with lazy.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll
go.
go lazy for
Yeah.
the comedic effect.
Yeah, okay, cool. I was one or the other. It probably was. But I had a lot to do with you for the mental side of things, because you had a lot of pressure on yourself. You're very stressed.
Yeah.
We had a couple of sauna sessions, and I think those, I would say, besides actually being in the corner watching you perform, those for me were the moments where I became really, really proud of you as a young man. Like, you know, being able to, you know, open up and tell me how you're feeling about things and why you were stressed and what the fights meant to you and how they changed you. So, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
like, would you like to expand upon that a little bit? Like, say, like, what pressure you put on yourself or what pressure you're feeling, how some of these chats might have helped you, and then last, I know it's a big question, how do you think those fights have changed you as a man?
Definitely. Well, I think having a win already in the basket as well from my first fight, there's always that slight pressure that you have of, right, you've got a bit of an expectation now to back it up, if that makes sense. You know, you've got one win, let's go for a second, Henry. So that was kind of a big deal. The other thing that I had that I was really in my head about was that first fight, I was way too chill. And even you know that. You were just like, Henry, what are you doing? You're about to hop in the cage and you look like you're about to walk down through the botanical gardens, like nothing's ever going to happen to you. You know, I was really relaxed, and then I kind of got in there and I was like, oh shit. But this time with the second fight coming around, I had that bit more of an expectation of what I'm going to walk into, which was a bit of a half-half. It kind of helped me mentally knowing that I've already been in that situation. But on the other hand, it was like, all right, well, that's what I'm going to have to do again, if that makes sense. You know, you having to relive that moment. And I don't know, there was no footage of Tyson. I didn't have any recollection of who he was, how he trained, etc. So there was always that as well. You're going into the unknown. You don't know if this guy has been training for 3 months and has got this fight, or he's been training for 10 years and is just an absolute weapon, you know? So you've got that playing in your mind. But yeah, those sauna sessions that we had were amazing. I got to talk about to you how I'm feeling about the fight, stuff that was happening outside as well, just in general life. And I think I would highly recommend to anyone who is needing to chat, either come to myself or to you, get a sauna, go grab a coffee. Like, they're one of the best ways to kind of help yourself mentally, I reckon. And your last question was like how it's kind of helped me now.
Yeah, as a young man. Like
yeah.
how is it? How do you think it's changed you? How do you think you would have turned out if you didn't voluntarily put yourself in these situations where you are under extreme stress? You're having arguments at home.
Yeah.
You've got all these doubts and questions that you need to answer about yourself. How do you think it's changed you, and how do you think you would be if you didn't fight?
I think it's changed me, of course, definitely for the better. Like, it's more mental resilience, knowing that, right, I've got that in my back pocket, that I can push myself through this. I can do that. What's the worst that's going to happen? You know, I'm running a half marathon up the mountain this Sunday, and it's just going to be like, all right, let's do it. Let's just, and that's what it is. It's that let's do it attitude that I've got from fight camps that I didn't have before. Before it would have been, if I'm going in to play soccer for school or footy, it'd be like doubts before the game of like, oh, I've got to put on a good performance and etc. Now, if I'm ever doing a sport, if I'm doing a competition of some sort, I'm just like, let's do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? And I think that a lot of people should keep that kind of thought through your head, even just day-to-day life. You're struggling to get out of bed. Let's do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? And that always ticks over through my brain constantly ever since those fight camps, of just the determination to do something, even if it's something small. And that's probably the biggest. Like, as I said, I put that day-to-day practice every single day. If I can get through that, I can get pretty much through the majority of things. So
yeah, that's awesome. Funnily enough, as you were just talking about that, something that which is very much a you thing, is like when you scream like, let's go. You do it like when we're sparring upstairs, like all that sort of thing.
Someone hits me with a good shot.
You're like, let's go. Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. Sorry, whilst we're recording this, I am feeding my baby and she's rather wriggly. It must be really funny for Henry to watch this actually at the moment. But
a multitasking man.
Yeah, multitasking man. Who says we can't do that?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we've chatted about your fight. We've had to talk obviously about how proud I am, all the sacrifices you've made, your Zendu Kai days, the sauna sessions. What's next for you, man? Do you want to fight again? What's next year looking like for you, dude?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been very lucky this year to travel, which has kind of put a bit of a stunt to my training. So at the start of this year, I've been all around the world, which has been awesome. But it's definitely, and I just also needed, whilst I'm talking about that, I want to give a massive thank you to Khan and Nikki, who also allowed me to kind of take a break from martial arts. There was a period of time where I was pretty burnt out, and I just needed to walk away from it for a couple months. And I've come back, although my training isn't consistent as I'd like, I'm so much more in love with it now. Sometimes you just need those moments away to appreciate what you've got. This year, bit slow on the training front. Next year, I've got a pretty big deal going on with a full-time job, which I'll kind of keep under my little palm at this stage. But
President of the United States of America, is that it?
We'll say that. We'll say that. Yeah, we'll say that. There's some exciting news for me. At this stage, I will be finishing up here at Hybrid in the coming months, which is a bit sad to say. But I'll always have the memories here, and these guys as well, lifetime friends and pretty much family to me now. So no more fights for me at this stage, but there's always the future. You can't really make that decision yet, can you?
Never say never.
I'd take a fight tomorrow if I could, but
Deegan, you up? Fight?
Bro, there's always the bus mob.
Exactly. There's always the bus mob.
Oh mate, no, that's really cool. And look, I've said it to a lot of people, that come through these doors that I form, friendships with, and you've always got a home at Hybrid.
Exactly.
You're not leaving. You're stopping training for a bit. So that's one thing that I really love about being here, and have had the privilege to have been here for so damn long. Is there are some people that they kind of blow in, blow out. You don't see them for a while, blow back in. And
we miss you, Mark.
Yeah, we do miss Mark. I know, but it always makes me so happy. When somebody I haven't seen for a long time just comes walking back through that door with a smile, just knowing that they're welcome.
Yeah.
And I just love that so much about this place. And I probably make nearly too big a deal about it. People will be like, "Is he all right?" Like when somebody rocks up and they're like, you see me come running out, bouncing and grabbing people, but it does mean the world to me that people feel welcome and they've always got a home here. And
Definitely.
And this community is something special, and that's something I hope comes across in these conversations. You know, as we go on. Isn't there right, Aurora? Yeah, as these as we get better at it, as we extract the meaning behind a lot of these fights and stories, I really hope people get a feel for how special this place is and how positive a lot of us have transformations a lot of us have had from it. So that's what I guess I wanted to get across.
Definitely.
And yeah, what about you, Deaky boy? Like, what do you got to say about any of this, man? Before she carries on too much.
To be honest, I think it's pretty cool, Henry.
Thank you.
But,
Yeah.
like, honestly, that fight, when we just watched that, I thought I would not want to be across from that guy. Yeah, I would be jumping the fence pretty quick. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, I remember, what's funny, I didn't realise that you were training at Murray Street.
Mm.
I started at Murray Street as well. But I do recall, like, you coming in, I was doing a little bit of Muay Thai, and I remember you coming into Glenorchy.
Yeah.
And you were just like a kid that was just there to learn.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's all it was.
And it's like, just seeing kids do that, and then you see some kids come in these days as well, and the ones that, like, actually, like, they pay attention, they want to get better. It's crazy, because you don't know what they could do.
No,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, I think someone like Wilkinson started training at, like, what, the age of 15. You know,
Yeah.
he's a world champion. It's like it's the perfect time to get into a sport like this.
Definitely. And it's nice knowing now that I'm a bit older that you kind of use me as example as well of a bit of this was what Henry was like when your age, look at him now. And I find so much kind of gratitude and like appreciate that so much that you use me as an example for that situation. So yeah, it's nice knowing that I'm a bit of an example here at Hybrid of, not everyone's a dickhead. So. Yeah.
Both of you lads are like that though. Like, neither of you were dangerous in any way, shape, or form when I met you. And in fact, neither was I when I took up martial arts. I'm bloody 5'7". I was 64 kilos of weird kid. And you guys much the same. Like, Deacon wouldn't even look me in the eye for ages. He still won't for the most part. And then
It's just jiu-jitsu people.
He can't say much to that, can he? He'll alienate his own base there.
He's honestly not wrong.
Yeah.
It gets worse. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I just so the positive changes that it has in people is awesome. And yeah, as I said, getting to watch you guys become dangerous has been a distinct honour. It really has. So yeah, I'm really happy that you've come in here today, Henry, and got to share a bit of your story, dude. I do want to have a chat to Tyler and see if we can get him to come in and talk about what was a pretty epic first fight for both of you.
The sweeping and...
Oh, mate, that was cool because you guys knew each other beforehand too. So, that'll be a really fun one to have you back for. So, especially if you sound like you're going to be disappearing next year, we'll have to have you back in the coming months, mate.
Yeah, would be awesome.
So I guess I better contact Tyler and get this thing organised.
Get him in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Mate, that's awesome. Thank you so much for today. And for those of you who are listening, thank you so much for supporting us. As I said at the start, like, Deaky and I, we'll get better at this. We'll get better. We're trying. Please give us some feedback. Please share the podcast. And any suggestions for guests or fights that you guys all want to hear about, then please let us know. But big love to you all. We're done for today. Have an awesome rest of your afternoon, everybody.